Dr. Nayab Khan. She is a senior consultant radiologist at Health Plus Imaging Center, and she will be talking on the role of high resolution CT in the diagnosis of COVID-19. There will be some duplication of what Dr. Praveen Gulati has said, but will be a revision for other people. I present to you Dr. Nayab Khan.
So first of all, where I would like to start with the assessment, the role of HRCT in COVID-19. So first, this is not a screening modality, as Sir has already said previously, Dr. Gulati, that it is basically for assessment of severity of the disease in a patient for prognostication and management, especially in moderate to severe cases. It is a complementary role to RT-PCR and not for primary diagnosis. But what it has really helped us, which we have seen in the past few months, is that a patient who is negative RT-PCR but is showing respiratory symptoms, and the clinician suspects that yeah, he may be COVID. In those cases, CT has become a problem-solving tool because we have seen so many patients in the past 2 months who have varied symptoms, but and CT findings, but the PCR keeps on coming negative. So also secondly, CT could also have a good role where RT-PCR is not available. Our country is vast, and it is not possible that everywhere we have the RT-PCR available. Then the turnaround time for the test result is also long. So in those cases also, a CT would give a diagnosis much faster and easily available to all. So according to one of the journals of radiology, in June this year, they did a study and they said that CT chest was positive for viral infections before the lab results became positive by approximately 3 days. And
हाँ, करण जी बोलो.
the rate of misdiagnosis
बोलो.
by radiologists was around 3 to 3.9%. So we can see in the current epidemic context, COVID, we take any person who comes to us with respiratory symptoms and ground glass opacification on CT to be COVID until proven otherwise. Because CT chest is a rapid diagnosis, it helps in easy control of transmission, and we can identify this patient may be positive, so we can ask him to isolate himself. So now let's start with the CT chest findings, now, which have CT chest findings. I've divided them into typical, indeterminate, and atypical, which are the various findings which we see. Among the typical they are usually bilateral, multilobar, involving the peripheries, and with ground glass attenuation. There are some areas of superimposed consolidation on them. Then some interstitial septal thickening is them, which can give the famous crazy paving appearance. Sometimes we also see this ground glassing as rounded areas of ground glass opacities in the peripheral part of the lung. And as the disease progresses, you do get the reverse halo sign, like organizing mona, which you see later on in the disease. So let us have a look at the various features. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. Yeah. So here there was this patient who presented with cough and breathlessness for past 10 to 15 days. In this, we could see that there are diffuse subpleural and peripheral areas of ground glass attenuation. Some patchy areas of consolidation have also started. Okay. Now the next slide. Now this was another case who had fever for the last 10 days. He was an older individual and he showed multiple irregular, you can see peripheral areas of ground glass attenuation with some opacities and subpleural, even fibrotic bands. They appear later on in disease, the fibrotic bands. And you can also get areas of linear consolidation sometimes. Next case, please. Okay. So now in the next case, this was a relatively earlier case. Here we get those rounded ground glassing, which I was talking about, like with the rounded ground glass opacities, which are peripheral, bilateral, and scattered. In this case also, we see they are seen mostly in the subpleural locations, and more were on the right side. Now, let's go to the another case. Now, this is another case. This was COVID positive. He came to us as COVID PCR test positive, and he was having breathlessness for the past 10 days. And just shift next case, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Yeah. So here you see peripheral areas of glass opacification with interlobular reticulations, which is giving that typical crazy paving. So when you see on the coronal scan, you can see how the periphery is more involved and the center is left around. And even see the vessels are a problem. The dilated vessels are also another sign for it. So these are mostly what are the typical signs. Like when you see these features, ground glass opacification with superimposed consolidation, with interlobular thickening and involving multiple lobes predominantly in the posterior parts of the lung, then we have to think in current pandemic situation we have to give it as COVID-19. And a PCR test may be negative, may be positive. Sometimes it has become positive later on, so that cannot be a criteria for ruling it out. Okay, so these were the typical features. Now let's going on to the next slide. Now, what are the indeterminate features, which are like not so typical, but still we should always think COVID. They are like the features, the ground glass opacities may be more diffuse, they may be multifocal, may be perihilar. There have been cases when there are unilateral involving one lobe without any consolidation, like they don't have any specific distribution. So, like in this case, see this person had cough like for last 1 week. Just next slide, please. Okay, and he came with the cough and nothing else, just mild cough. And when we see the multiple asymmetric and ill-defined areas, see, especially in the subpleural areas, which more so on the right side, there were some areas of even calcified nodules on the lung fields. So, as such, also, though the PCR was negative, but we had to give ask them to repeat PCR. Now this patient, the next slide, please. The next one, this female was the wife of the previous patient. No, this was the yeah, I think a relative of the previous patient, and she just said that I had mild cough, absolutely congestion and nothing, but I just want it done for her own sake. So when we did the CT, there were like peripheral areas of glass opacification, as you can see in the right lung. There were no lesions on the left lung, surprisingly. So this is like an atypical symptom, and since with the contact history and the symptoms, we had to raise the possibility. So she went ahead and got everything done. They were able to isolate her first and help in that situation. Now the next slide. So yeah, so this is another slide. Here the patient had come. He had come as COVID negative. So he had some old history of pneumonia and breathlessness. So as we see, there were like bilateral irregular areas of ground. Some patchy opacification is there. Interlobular septal thickening can also be seen. So though the COVID test was negative, but the patient was having breathlessness and giving all the symptoms. So he was treated as COVID only, and because it was much safer to that, and then we divided this. So there is grading also which has been going on. But before that, let's see the next slide. Okay. Now, what are the atypical appearances of CT? Sometimes, of course, we don't know so much about COVID right now. It is still a work in progress. So there have been a few cases which have not shown like the typical case. Like there is sometimes occasion. I have a case where there was a lobar area of consolidation, and the patient tested positive on PCR. So that was very surprising. Then there were cases where a few patients with a small area of centrilobular nodules or tree in bud appearance, and they also tested positive for COVID. However, they are not the typical features. And features like lung cavitation, pleural effusion, mediastinal lymphedema, they're usually not seen in COVID. However, later on they do appear. They occur in patients with more complications. So now the next case which we see here, he is patient who is PCR positive. He came with a history of breathing difficulty for the past 10 days. Here we can see there are some centrilobular and nodules and tree and bud opacities in the right lung. It was only the right lung, not on the left lung. And it was not very typical, but the patient was pre-suspected. Hence, we gave it as COVID. Now, there is this another case. This patient also had a segmental consolidation, and this there was adjacent some amount of but branching, and just put next, yeah, and there were centrilobular nodules, some ground glass halo also. So this patient, the next slide, please. yeah, the atypical features. Okay, the next slide. So this is just, yeah, this is the case where they have the centrilobular nodules and with small layers of tree and bud branching opacities. This patient was PCR positive. Yes. And next, uh, next slide. Yeah. Now this patient had area of segmental consolidation. He was also PCR positive. There was some adjacent glassing and all, and involving only in the left lobe. You can see the left lobe is only involved. The right lobe was spared. So we have been seeing a few atypical appearances. Whether they are coexisting with other pneumonias, we will have to see. So now let's talk about the evolution on CT, the picture. As you know, COVID-19, once the patient becomes symptomatic, so a CT can detect the findings as early as the third day, like after third day only it comes positive. So the patient may have done a PCR test, it might come negative at that time because the viral RNA load is less. But the CT usually early in the phase shows some ground glass opacification and subtle, it patchy, ventral. Then slowly it would progress. Like from 0 to 4, we give it as the early days. The next slide, please. And then after 0 to 4 days, from 5 to 8 days, there is increased. Slowly the ground glassing increases, and the crazy paving pattern, that interstitial septal thickening, they will start, and it would spread to both the lungs. Then the peak of the CT findings is usually seen between 9th and 13th day. So around 10 to 11 days, that is the time when we see consolidation, air bronchogram, and bilateral diffuse pleural subperipheral opacities. So that is the peak stage. This is at this time that the RL PCR test is always positive. And then the last stage is the absorption stage, when there is an improvement with the disease, the fibrosis is there. But a patient who has COVID will continue to show some features on CTC up to the 22nd day. So that's why in some states they have said that to put the patient on isolation for like almost 3 weeks for optimum recovery. So that is what they said. So now evolution is CT residual changes will remain. So that is other next slide, please. Next we have the grading, the grading of COVID. Now there are many gradings of CT. One of them is this, where they have graded CT. As sir previously said, you divide the lung into parts, upper, mid, lower, and on the right and the left, and then you grade according to the level of involvement. We give 0 if there is no involvement, 1 point if less than 25% of the lung parenchyma is involved, 2 points if there is 25 to 50% of the lung parenchyma is involved, 3 if 50 to 75% of the lung parenchyma is involved, and 4 if more than 75% is involved. Then CT attenuation is also taken into consideration. If, it is 1 if it is normal, 2 if there is some ground glass haziness is seen, and 3 if you actually consolidation. So then the total scoring is done from both sides. Another way of grading CT is called as the CORAD scoring. Now in CORADs, they give scoring from 1 to 6. 1 is when there is the CT is absolutely normal, there is nothing in it. And 6 is when you have a PCR test positive, so that becomes CORAD 6 straight away. At CORAD 2, that is, there is a low likelihood of having infection, you may see a few findings which do not. So that is a low finding. Then at CORAD 3, there is indeterminate. You are unclear. There may be a few patchy groundwater opacities here and there, but they do not follow the pattern. They are not subpleural. There may be some intraparenchymal. So it is with low suspicion. That is CORAD 3. At CORAD 4, you have a high suspicion. Now you start seeing the bilateral peripheral subpleural opacities and opacification. So you give it as CORAD 4. CORADS 5 is very high suspicion when you're almost sure that this is uh, COVID only. You do not have a PCR test, so you give it as CORAD 5. You get proper groundus opacification, subpleural, peripheral location, consolidation, and all those features. So that's how this CORAD scoring has also been followed in many parts. And otherwise, the other is one which I showed you, where they have been followed according to the percentage of lung involvement. What it helps is in the prognostication of the and how for follow up. So because sometimes they do send us patients who have had COVID, so they want to see how the patient, if he is not responding to treatment, how much damage has been done, how much progress is there as compared to the previous scan. And so here is is helpful. Now, COVID per se is a diagnosis which because in the current pandemic situation, any CT scan which we see which has bilateral appearance, we have to give it as COVID right now. Maybe not 3 to 4 months now later from today, but today. And sometimes we have to do, there are a few differentials which we should keep in mind while grading CT. Like the next slide. Yeah. So firstly, how do we differentiate from bacterial and community acquired pneumonias, like lung pneumonias? They are usually limited in one segment of the lobe. You may see some tree invert, central lobular, mucoid impaction areas. But the CT which I showed previously, they were positive, but they were like a rare occurrence. Then another thing is we cannot differentiate between viral infections on CT. Like in China, Wuhan, they had done a study that they could not. There were some people who had they had similar picture to what we see in COVID, and they had adenovirus infection. Then some had influenza. So it can help us in differentiating between the two. Then there are some other pneumonias, the pneumocystis one, where it usually occurs in an immunocompromised patients, where we do see ground glass opacification, but it is distributed diffusely with splaring of the subpleural spaces and others. Then there are non-infection causes of ground glassing like pulmonary edema or drug-induced pneumonitis. So next slide, please. This next one is I will show you the how pulmonary edema has spread. Here, this was a patient. He had massive. He was in ARDS. There were pleural effusion, perihyperconsolidation, bilateral, involving both the lobes of the lung. And here you can see there is subpleural sparing. The subpleural area is spared. There was effusion was quiet. The patient was in that state. So these were like the what important feature and take home messages for CT is that CT is a sensitive tool. It is a sensitive tool to tell us like if the patient has COVID or not, and uh, and it is positive relatively early, like on the third day of infection. And if the PCR is not available, like if you do not have a PCR for the patient, like in many cases in our country, then a CT would be a good modality to treat the patient because then we can identify and isolate and manage the patient. And it should not be used as a screening modality per se. We cannot start screening every day with CT because of the high radiation dosage and other things which are involved. The staff also doing CT will also get exposed to so many people, so we have to follow proper protocols at our setup with proper PPEs and all, because the machine also needs to be sanitized regularly. And now let's see if I can manage. I have some other cases of COVID positive patients which had signs, but I do not know whether I would be able to show them. Let's try. Let's try. Let's try. Hmm. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So this is a case where I have this is a patient who is having hello. Okay. So this patient was having rounded pneumonic patches, bilateral, ground glass attenuation, and they were like subpleural and some areas of bilateral scatter. She was having fever and breathlessness and all these things. Then okay, and other there were other cases also. Let me have a look if I can show you to you. See, this patient was COVID positive. He did come to us as COVID positive, and okay, okay. And there you can see in this patient that there is uh, okay, there's some problem with the camera. Okay, so where I have a few more cases to show, but probably there's some problem with the camera. But what I found after doing like for the past 2 months, we did 25 patients yeah, scan, and most of the patients who came were with bilateral patchy ground attenuation in the peripheral parts of the lung, and there were some crazy appearance, and some of them also showed atypical appearances. So hopefully CT, as we go further, we will get to know a better role of CT and to diagnose these patients and to follow them up and treatment. So that's all from my side.
So that was a beautiful
Yeah.
presentation and an excellent presentation by Dr. Naab Khan. I have also Dr. Praveen Gulati with me. So let's all three of us interact with each other. Okay, Dr. Praveen Gulati, all yours. I said all three of us can
Yes.
interact with each other for 5 to 10 minutes. Do you have
Right, sir.
questions?
I'm here.
Okay,
There are-
so we're going to ask some questions. Number one, should we go for a CT scan after 10 days of the symptoms if the patient is having mild cough but no fever and SpO2 is normal? This is from Dr. Bajaj.
So Dr. Bajaj is asking a question that can the CT changes come late? Normally we say that CT changes come on day 2, 3, 4, or 5. Can a person who is asymptomatic develop changes in CT after 10 days? Personal experiences of both of you. If you have.
Yes, Dr. Nayak.
Usually it comes early by 5, you do see some symptoms.
I know.
The symptoms.
I'm talking about like we have a suppose so the answer is that if the person has asymptomatic pneumonia developing on 4 or 5, he gets complicated on day 12, 13, or 14. So normally what we say is in such a situation is we are seeing in Bombay we are seeing sudden hypoxia developing on 13th, 14th, and 15th day. If you miss the diagnosis early, and in such cases, if it is complicated by a hypoxia, that means thrombosis, so they may develop changes on 13th, 14th, and 15th. They're precipitated because of coagulation. Otherwise, their pneumonia was silent on day 3, 4, 5, can get complicated on 13th, 14th, and 15th. So the cause of sudden death on 13th, 14th, and 15th is missed pneumonia on day 3, 4, 5, and that is complicated by a coagulation abnormality appearing on 13th day. That's my explanation. I've seen such cases in Bombay. In Bombay,
the very important. Sorry, I would just like to add the very important thing here is that in this type of situation, you should not go for HRCT, but you should go for a contrast CT. You have to do first HRCT and then go for CT angiogram. Otherwise, again, you will miss the diagnosis. So that's very important how the patient is presenting.
And the second thing is, which I always narrate, is my own case. That was way back in 2014. I went from Delhi to Shirdi, from Delhi to Pune, Pune to Shirdi, Shirdi to Dhule, Dhule to Indore, and back. So that means there was I was traveling on car from Pune to Indore, which was almost like 14 to 16 hours of driving, and in between there were functions and I was attending the functions. So while in Shirdi, I felt unwell and I felt like I'm not well. So I sat down for 5-10 minutes and then again I took lecture for 2 hours, came back. And then I was giving a lecture with Vinay Agarwal's hospital. And during lecture, I had 2 episodes of air hunger. And I came back and talked to the physician there. And the only positive thing was exertional tachycardia. When I was walking, my heart rate was increasing. That's it. There was no fall of SpO2 on exertion. For the next 6 days, I was investigated 3 CT scans, 2 X-rays, echo, pulmonary functions, everything. Normal. Standard answer, tension है, बहुत काम करता है, Alprez खा के सो जा. That was the standard prescription I got for at least 6 different people. Told me कुछ नहीं है, इतने सारे investigations करा ले, कराई जा रहा है. Then I was sitting in IMA. I was the Secretary General, and at that particular moment, my Aaj Tak Suman, she was the cameraman, and she says during today interviews you were not comfortable. So I called up Harsh. Harsh was in London. So I told Harsh I'm not well. So he says कि मैंने कहा मेरे को तुम he says I'm not in Delhi. So I said मेरे को coronary rule out कर दो because I have a very heavy day tomorrow and day after. So he sent me I went to his center. So I got my coronary CT angio done. So I was sitting with the doc and I asked और क्या क्या देख सकते हैं? He says थोड़ा सा एंगल देखेंगे तो pulmonary artery भी देख लेंगे. So I said उसको भी देख लो. और जैसे ही उसने pulmonary artery देखी, he shouted. He says the whole pulmonary artery is blocked. So I said, now do CPA, coronary. I said, you do a pulmonary angio. The whole right side, all three branches, the whole left side and the whole right side, two out of three were absolutely multiple clots. Asymptomatic, only positive finding, exertional tachycardia.
Sir, I
So
fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. The pulmonary embolism is grossly under diagnosed thing. We have seen a lot of patients with very mild symptom. You do a CT and you do a contrast CT for the chest, and if you have done a good contrast CT, on that you pick up these pulmonary embolism. I fully agree with you that this is underdiagnosed.
So exertional tachycardia in COVID era. So I'm always saying is that whenever a person says 4 kadam chalne pe mere ko tachycardia ho raha hai, it may be much before exertional hypoxia. So either you look for a myocarditis or you look for a thrombotic episode occurring inside the body. So I say anybody who says कि मेरे को exertional जरा सा भी चल रहा हूँ हो रहा हूँ, immediately D-dimer कराता हूँ उसका. If D-dimer is normal, because people are afraid of doing, even echo people are afraid of doing, they're touching, they are not touching उसके साथ में. So in such cases we need to rule out, because otherwise you will be missing. I would have been not there if I would not have diagnosed. Self-diagnosis I would not have done, over-investigated myself. So if I would not have over-investigated myself, I might have been a 6-year-old boy somewhere.
Sir, I know I know three doctors of Delhi who flew from Delhi to US to meet their children. There they started with the complaint of pain in the legs and some dyspnea on exertion, and they all turned out to be pulmonary embolism. So you have to be very careful when you are having these long flights, or if you are trying this thing, you have not taken precaution with your hydration. This is very important, sir. Grossly under diagnosed thing.
I know. So I therefore I said that anything unusual, exertional in this COVID, I'm saying to everybody is don't wait for exertional hypoxia to come. Wait for exertional tachycardia. Sympathetic overactivity, exertional tachycardia. Look for a hypercoagulable state. You may be missing a pulmonary embolism.
Is it ethically right to do repeated CTs?
Yes. The question is it ethically right to do multiple CTs? The answer is yes, because CT is much easier than doing an MRI. And in this COVID, it's a question of life and death. There is nothing like that. Repeated CT sometimes may have to be done, or you do a single CT and then follow it up with multiple X-rays.
It all depends on the clinical profile of the patient, how the patient is behaving. Yeah.
Yes, sir, I think CT is a very good modality, and I think we should use it if it is available easily. It will be done in 2 minutes time, and if the patient is having
so I'm going to
and then
end.
any
It's 7:04. I'm going to end with a joke. Because when Nayab said CT is a very good modality, I hope we all have learned about the CT scan. A patient died and he was declared dead. The relations were insisting that you do some test. So they said, okay, let's do a CT scan. They called a cat. उसने आके सूंघा, उसने बोला नहीं है कुछ भी, चली गई. So he says, CAT scan has been done. CAT scan also has shown that you are dead. Dead is dead. So that was a joke about a CAT scan that for a death patient. So, but CT scan is effective in this particular condition. Thank you very much. The
Yes,
link
sir.
of these programs will be sent to all of you, and it was live on YouTube, and it will also be sent and shared with all the people together. Thank you very much.